Y'all, I do not know what is going on with my camera. How do I turn this back horizontal? Let me see something real quick. How do I turn this horizontal? Yeah, I don't know how to turn my camera horizontal. So annoyed. So I was just outside of my son's job, y'all, to pick him up. He told me be here at 2 o'clock. This why I don't get no sleep. I can't do nothing because of my son. It's like so freaking annoying. But I only came on here to talk real quick, a couple of minutes while I get back to where I'm going. I don't know why I can't turn my camera's supposed to be horizontal like this, and I just don't want it to fall. But anyway, as I was saying, hold on one second, I'm looking at something. People is always trying to demonize African spirituality. And why they always trying to demonize African spirituality is because they don't want y'all to tap back into your roots, into your cultures and stuff, right? They don't want you to know how powerful you are. But the reason why they actually started to demonize, I don't know if you can say that word on here, we just gonna call it the D word. The reason why they started to do, like, say it was demonic, right? The reason why people started to say that African spirituality was demonic was because of the fact that the Haitians won the war between, I think it was Britain and French, and they utilized their magic. They utilized the herbs and they utilized nature to win, the wars. So they started calling it demonic. Okay. Now, African spirituality, like voodoo and hoodoo, okay, it's just working with nature and working with herbs and stuff like that. Now, you got to think about it. Truly think about it. Go ahead. Truly think about everything. Everything that was black. When I talk about, the other day I was talking about, um, if y'all go to my baddies video where I was talking about the baddies, and I was talking about how they separated people with color, right? They separated people with color because of, they said that you was black or you was white, right? Now, even the color black, they tried to make the color black such a demonic color. When you think about it, right? Everything that's black. Hold on a second. This cop right there. I don't want to get pulled over. Everything that was black, right? They demonized everything. Like, say, oh, if a black cat walked past your path, you're gonna get bad luck, right? They made pictures of witches and they put black on them. Why did they put black on them? Because the color black was supposed to be demonic. Okay, that's why. That's why they did that. Okay, do you know why they call people witches and stuff like that? They call them witches because when you look back in the day, they made witches look bad. That's what they made them look like, bad people. But they were actually healers. They actually worked with potions and spells and all that, which really was like herbs, right? Herbs and stuff. That's really what it was. It was healing. And so what I find funny is the Christians, right? They always try to demonize other people's practices. They're the main ones that always, especially me, like if I come on here on YouTube and I'll say something, or I'll be doing my spiritual practices, people will come on here and be like, well, according to my beliefs, or they'll drop some little sly stuff in the comments, which I really don't give a damn about. Let me show y'all this. I should show y'all my I'm in the bridge. Hold on a second. Look. I can't flip it. Darn. But anyway, Yeah, they always got some sly shit to say. Like, they'll be like, oh, well. Like, anything I talk about, anything. Oh, this is demonic. This is witchcraft. This is that. Da. Okay? It's just so crazy. Like I said, some things you can't say on here, so I gotta make sure I say it. Right? They be quick to criticize someone else's beliefs. But at the same time, Christians will criticize you so much, but at the same time, they do the same thing. You go to a funeral. What are they doing? They fighting over obituary. Oh, I got to get the obituary because I got to put it up on my altar. Why do you have an altar? If it's so demonic, right? Why are you putting the pictures up? Or right after the funeral. Oh, we got to go do a candle lighting. That's spiritual. Okay, that's spiritual practice. Okay, the candle lighting is spiritual. And then they do it all wrong. You're not actually supposed to leave the candles outside at a repast. You're not really supposed to do that. You're supposed to take that candle back home because, say, for example, someone got murder in an accident or something, car accident, something like that, right? And then the people go and they start putting candles out there. Guess what? That body still stays out there. You know what I'm saying? It still stays out there because that person, you're supposed to actually take the candle home with you. So if you don't know what you're doing with spiritual practices, you shouldn't do it. Like, if you're lighting candles and having a repast and you leave them candles out there, that person's energy is going to stay there. That's why it's good to have a spiritualist at your funeral if you're performing these things. But like I said, they always talk about, oh, everything is demonic. But they be the main ones doing everything. They want their obituary. They do candle lightings. Birthdays, they always blowing out a birthday candle, making birthday wishes. I always see them talk about angel numbers. All over now, Christians talk about angel numbers. 555, 222, 333, 444. I even seen one on TikTok talking about it was a guy with crystals on. And talking about nobody can attack me with black magic because I got Jesus and I got my crystals. Nowhere in the Bible does they mention crystals, okay? Now, they do mention sage and frankincense and stuff like that. They do mention that. But it just kills me that the fact that a lot of people always trying to demonize African spirituality, right? They always do. And then they don't even understand it. They don't even understand it, Now, there's two different African spiritualities. Well, there's a couple of different ATRs. Let me say that. You got Falo, you got Congo, you got Isheshe, you got Santeria. Well, Santeria and Lukomi is the same thing. You have all that, right? Isheshe is the route that you go if you go to Africa and you get your initiations and all that. Okay, that's Isheshe. Lukomi Santeria is the route where you go to Cuba. Okay, Puerto Rico, they do it as well. All right. Oh, I'm just watching myself while I'm driving. So, like, a lot of people don't know stuff. They just be talking and stuff. Like, I even seen one Christian talking about the Orishas one time. They kept talking about the Orishas. And I'm like, oh, they don't even know what an Orisha is. They kept talking about Oshun this, Oshun that. They were straight Christian. And they had all these candles. And I'm just looking like, damn. Then the next week, they went to demonizing. Or I seen spiritualists, right, that done turn spiritual, then go back to Christianity, and they'll be like, oh, it was so dark, it changed my life. That's because you was doing something wrong. First of all, you was doing something wrong, and you did not have an elder, because there's no way, nothing at all, that African spirituality is demonic. Now, if everything you have good and bad, with everything you have good and bad, that's just like most African Americans, okay, most of them, because I don't like to use color. I hate when people say black and white. I hate that. So I'm going to say African Americans. Most African Americans, okay, okay, they mostly are oppressed, okay, they're under the hugest spell ever, okay. One second, because I got to get in here. Most of them don't even know who they are. They don't know what their tribe is. You ask them, what are you? What's your race? What's your ethnicity? Da 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 da. And they'll say black. And they go to writing their own applications. I'm black. Black is a color, baby. What is your ethnicity? They don't know. You know why they don't know? Because they've been oppressed so long that they don't even know that they're the main people that actually demonize their own practices. Do you know how many people that I get on my post, and they be all mostly majority African Americans? Like I said, I don't call them blacks, but they identify as black, which black is a color. And this is how the white team man separated everyone with color. You're black and you're white. You're black and you're white. You're black and you're white. You know what I'm saying? And that really kills me. And then when you think about it, like I said, everything that they said was black was demonic. Do you know in African spirituality or spirituality period that black is the color of protection? Black is the color of protection. You got black tourmaline, you got black obsidian, all that. Black is, if you go to a party and you wear all black, you're protected, baby. Someone said the other day, made a post, and they was like, what do I do if I want to go out? There was a beginner. There was a beginner in spirituality, right? They said, what do I do if I want to go out and I want to go to a party and I want to stay protected, right? That's what they said. You can wear black. Use black tourmaline, black obsidian. Take some Florida water, wrap your head. You know what I'm saying? Black is a color of protection, but they made everything that was black demonic. Not only that, black, like I said, black cats are bad. They scare you with the black crows. I remember one day I sat on TikTok and I watched a lady pray to a bunch of crows. And she pretended that because she was praying to Jesus, that the crows got scared and they flew away. Them crows didn't fly away because she was calling on Jesus, lady. They flew away because she was screaming at the top of her lungs. Hysterical. I would have thought that she would need to be in a loony bin. She was like, oh my God, they're going to get me. She was like praying, was like all these crows like lined up, and she just was praying and just, oh my gosh, she was so hysterical. I don't know if y'all ever seen it, just screaming and crying and screaming and crying and rebuking the crows. And I know them crows was just sitting there looking at her like, are you crazy? Are you okay? Are you okay? Like, are you okay? Because if that was me and I lived by her, I would have called a Looney Tune home for her, sitting there praying to some crows, okay? Now, crows, actually, if you know the spiritual meaning of crows, crows protect you as well. They're also a sign of protection. Crows, what they do is they actually sit up high and they watch over their prey. They actually sit up high, they make nests, even to watch over their children. Like, they do that. That's why in African spirituality, if you see a crow, is like they're basically protecting you. It's a sign of protection. But if you ask someone else, did they see a crow, they like, oh my God, death is near. Like, it's just like how they demonize. I'm telling you, everything that's black, they demonize. Crows, black cats, black clothes. If you wear a black hoodie in the hood, you're gangster, you're gonna do something bad. What else? Witches, right? Like I said, witches, la brujas. They when they are on cartoons or whatever, or Hollywood movies, these Hollywood movies demonize everything too. They put black on witches. Why? Because it's supposed to make them look dark and scary, right? It's so crazy because they say that black is the absence of light. Darkness is the absence of light. That's what they try to say. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all, I wish that I could like sit down and talk to, so I wish I could help the whole world. I wish I could remind people of who they really was. And when I always hear people say, oh, voodoo, hoodoo, and all this and that is demonic, I just be sitting there like, only if y'all knew that y'all ancestors been practicing this. This was actually their religion, okay? Their religion. They heal people with herbs, okay? Hoodoo is nothing but herbs and healing. That's what hoodoo is, with the H, not with the W, because they confuse it. Hoodoo, your grandmoms were up there in the church. You can't have hoodoo without the Bible. There's no hoodoo without the Bible. And they used to write what they needed, and they used to put it in the Bible. They used to use the book of Psalms. They used to write it in the Bible. That's why your grandma used to write, I'm going to let God handle that. And y'all see her put that little paper in there? Yep, she was doing hoodoo. House cleanses every Sunday. That is hoodoo. Okay? Healing of the herbs. That is hoodoo. Working with nature. That is hoodoo. But they'll tell you that is demonic. So the next time y'all see a Christian going to go get them some tea, because it be the Christians that do it. You don't never see no Muslims do it. I got so many clients that are Muslim. So many. And they come to me for readings. They come to me for healing products. Every other religion are so respectful. Every other religion. I got Buddhists that come to me. I got Catholics that come, well, not too many Catholics, but I do. But it be the ones that be in Santeria, okay? They hide behind the saints, all right? So the Santos, I have them that come to me. But a Christian, a real full-blown Christian, I get them always in my comments. Oh, this is witchcraft, what you're doing. This is that. And I'll just be like, and that's why I'll joke around. I'll be like, yeah, I'm a witch, I guess. I'm a healer. I'm a spiritual healer. But we've been demonized so much. And the reason why they do this, because they don't want y'all to understand who y'all are. I could bring out a book right now and it will change your whole life to be like, damn, I was really living under the hugest spell in the world. It's called How to Make a Black Man Christian. That's what it's called. And then nobody wants to hear about that. As soon as I talk about it, everybody runs away because everyone's scared. Nobody wants to hear the damn truth. And it really pisses me off. Like, that's why when people come in my comments and they be like, oh, my belief, someone going to say to me, and I'm sorry if you are, I don't know, it was on one of my The Truth videos or whatever it was. I think it was the video where I was speaking about the woken Israelite, the one they call sleepy. He is sleepy, for one. He don't even know the etymology of words, for two. He be on Facebook talking about good morning. And if you're really woken, you're not going to say good morning. You're going to say grand rising, because you know that we don't mourn, okay, when we wake up. But his name is Woken. But anyway, someone's going to comment on that video. No, actually, it was on my live. That's what it was. Someone got a comment on my live. And because I said something about the daughter, Lauren, the girl, BB's daughter, Lauren, I said something about her. And I said, I feel like she's curious. Like bi-curious or some crazy crap. I don't know. I ever said curious, confused, bi-curious, whatever the case was. That's what I said. I said what I said. And they're going to say, oh, well. And I said, and you know what? I said everything back respectfully to give them clarity on, like, it's so crazy. But it was what they said. They said, oh, don't the power of the tongue. Talking about something about the power of the tongue. Don't speak that over her life. And I could just see him bopping the ear. Don't speak that over her life. Da. And I'm like, and they like, I'm a firm believer in God. So what are you trying to say? Because I said that she could be curious that I'm not a firm believer in God. Because that's what I'm taking from it. Because everybody always want to comment something about God, knowing that it's many religions. Hold on, let me make sure. Let me see what percent I'm on my phone. Hold on. I got to see what percent I'm on. Still here.